SmackDown needs to change. I am Chopper Pequenel. This is Randy Andy Datson. Welcome to the WrestleTalk live review of SmackDown. And today, we're going to be talking about how SmackDown needs to change because it's really, really repetitive and boring. But before we get into it, please leave us a like and a subscribe. Tell everyone about this stream. Go share it with your mum, your dad, your dog, your hamster. Get them all to come watch. And if you're watching live, make sure to get in your suit super chats because we'll be going through those after the first main talking point and at the end of the show as well.
Yes.
But first, let's talk about SmackDown because this show from last night in particular felt so repetitive, so uninspiring that it feels like I've watched the same show 4 weeks in a row.
It's felt the last 4 weeks have basically felt almost like a kind of Chinese whispers where you've watched a show and then you've gone to your mate, right, for next week, this is what I want you to do. And then next week he's gone, right, so I think this is what he told me. And it's basically the same thing, but it's slightly different. Yeah. And then this next week you tell your next friend, like, oh, by the way, you're doing SmackDown this week, so to make it like this. And it's just been the same show with just very, very slight differences. And it's not exciting, especially when you're thinking, right, the Royal Rumble is in literally 2 days' time when SmackDown airs. You're thinking there's going to be a big angle. Even if it's not that different, there's probably going to be like a Royal Rumble thing where 1 million people get
loads
in
of people brawl and everyone gets thrown over the top rope.
And then there's one person standing who you then know isn't going to win the Rumble.
Yeah.
But then they'll talk about it for ages going, oh, by the way, on Friday he came out on top in that brawl. There was none of that. It was just the same as last week's show. And Pete and I, pulling back the curtain, we all went to the pub after work on Friday. And Pete said, have you seen any of the matches for tonight? And I said, well, no, but I'm assuming this is what it's going to be. And then we went on the WWE preview, and I was exactly 100% right. And in fact, 2 weeks ago, I think you predicted that we were going to have Usos and Roman against the trio of
Corbin's mid-card vortex. Yeah.
Oh, well, I almost said something naughty.
Version 3.
Yes. It's not exciting, as you said in your review. Yeah. That it's kind of like you're going to get the New Day, one of the New Day against one of Miz and Morrison. You know you're going to get Lacey Evans. You know you're going to get another very short women's segment that gets overlooked by everything. Elias is going to sing a song. Nakamura's probably going to come out second best against Strowman. Yeah. And Corbin's going to be on most of the show. Yeah. And that seems to be what it is every single week. And there's no kind of storyline development. It's like they've gone, here's the first bit of the story that we're going to continue to do time and time again. Yeah. We're going to do Lacey Evans is cutting a promo and Bailey attacks her. Yes. We're going to do Lacey Evans and Bailey are having a brawl. We're going to do Miz and or Morrison facing Big E and or Kofi. But with no actual development, we're just going to have them keep having the same match. It's the same thing every year because what you get is TLC happens and then the writers go, right, we need to write some weeks of TV and then it's time for Christmas and they go, oh, we've written 3 weeks. So once we finish the third week, we'll just do the same thing for the next few weeks. I can't be bothered. I mean, it's Christmas. I'll be tired and I'll be with my family. Yeah. Because they could have set up the feuds, and then they went, "Oh, we've set them up now, but there's still a month to go to the Royal Rumble."
Exactly. What do we do
whatever,
now?
Let's just do it again.
And there's no variation in any of the stories, and things that are like fresh, like the Usos coming back and John Morrison, I'm already bored of them because they keep doing the same things every week. Sheamus came back and I was like, oh, that's so cool, and he broke Shorty G in the face, and now he's just doing promos, doing the same thing before he came back. There's no change.
It'd be so much more effective if you had Sheamus and Morrison come back and just have like a few kind of sort of exhibition matches, just a few weeks in a row, and then they can start their actual story. Don't put them immediately into a story that kind of takes them away from everything. Because if you had Morrison come back and say, oh, this week, John Morrison's going to have a match with Cesaro. Next week, oh, by the way, John Morrison's going to have a match with Ali. And you're thinking, great, well, that's getting him back into it. But it doesn't immediately go, he's a heel now and he's going to be having a feud.
Well, that's the thing, though. I don't think it's bad to bring him back as a heel and put him straight into a feud, as long as there's an actual story. Because they brought him back and said, he's a heel, he's in a feud, and then said, but there isn't actually a feud. He's just going to be facing Kofi Kingston and Big E, and you're going to boo him for that. because reasons.
Why did they even start fighting? Was it just because Miz was upset?
Because Miz was upset and attacked Kingston, which was a good. That was a good story. That was a really well told story. That was a good start of the story, and now it's just gone.
Even then, there. I wouldn't say him getting slightly annoyed at Kofi was enough to stretch this out for. I mean, because it doesn't look like this is going to be made for the Royal Rumble unless they announce it today for the pre-show, which is where it would go.
It's possible.
Which is perfectly possible, and it's perfectly possible again also that Braun will go up against Nakamura tomorrow. Again, probably on the pre-show because it's the Royal Rumble, so I imagine it's a 2-hour pre-show.
Yes. Yeah.
So you can generally skip the first hour.
Yeah, it won't be any matches on it.
But I can't be bothered to watch these guys just because you know that if it's John Morrison against Big E one week, it's probably going to be John Morrison against Kofi the next week.
Or Miz versus Kofi.
Versus Big E. It's going to be one of the two. And it's just, I don't want wrestling to be predictable. That's kind of why you why you look into wrestling, because it's kind of like, you don't know what's going to happen. And that's why I like the Royal Rumble so much, is because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what another company does so well, is that...
Biased.
I know. Is that they put on matches that are just like, okay, well that's not like a feud.
Yeah.
But that's a match I want to see.
Yeah.
If you do a feud, because WWE likes to kind of do feuds without a break, even this week, if you said, oh, and by the way, John Morrison is facing Mustafa Ali this week, I go, oh, cool. So he's still. I would still think, okay, they're still feuding with the New Day, but he can have this match. Then, for example, he beats Ali after a good match. Miz runs in, they're all hitting him. Then the New Day can come down. That's still continuing this feud, but it's doing it in a way that isn't just, well, they're going to have another match, and then this is probably going to be, this is obviously the tag title feud now.
Yeah, and it seems to me that they have literally gone with SmackDown vs. Raw GM mode, and they've taken the algorithm for what you have to do to build a feud for that, and just do that. Because on GM mode, what you've got to do is have them face each other every single week to continue the feud, and if you don't, that feud breaks. They've looked at that game and gone, they know how to do it. Yes. We're going to do that. So every week, it's a different variation of the same people facing in every single match. And like you said, you don't have to face them every week. We understand that feuds need to have certain people interacting every week. You need to have the story building in some way. But you can have alternate stories building without the two interacting. Or you can have them interacting in different ways instead of just, we're going to fight. Or we're going to brawl, or we're going to cut promo against each other. The same thing every week. You can have stuff like, let's say, Aleister Black and Buddy Murphy. Yeah. You can have them two interacting and coming into blows. Or you could have each of them have a singles match, which then puts over their feud because the commentators make the link between the two because they're feuding. And they haven't even seen each other. That's just an example of how you can build a story without having to have every component of the story together in one place at the same time. And that's what SmackDown feels like. It feels like it's just all the pieces have to be together, otherwise you just won't get the story.
Yeah. And it's been, like you said, like we said before, it's been the last 4 weeks, I think. It's been since the beginning of this year. Yeah. It has been the same show. And it's been just uninteresting. Every week you're thinking, okay, they're going to be doing something different this week. They're going to do something different this week. And they just don't. And I know they're kind of probably just waiting for a hard reset, the Royal Rumble, and then they'll go, right, okay, now we're going to start building to Elimination Chamber.
WrestleMania season.
The Saudi show. and WrestleMania. Yeah. Because then you've got shows in between where you can kind of do the sort of B feuds, and then you can, once Elimination Chamber's done, then you can go, right, okay, so this is our feud. But even Elimination Chamber is in the middle of March, so you really only have 3 weeks to then build to WrestleMania. It feels like there is a issue here with the kind of pacing of the whole year. I don't know what, I know it's sort of a tradition for the Rumble to be at the end of January, but either you put the Rumble in the middle of January. Yep. Because then you've got less time to wait between TLC. Or you just go, right, well, we had Survivor Series in November. We can wait until the start of the year. We could put TLC first week of the year or something like that. Because then it's just a lot better pace and you haven't got so long to wait.
Or even, this might be a crazy idea, move the Royal Rumble to later in the year, so you don't have any pay-per-views between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, and you literally have like a 6-7 week build from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania that you just build on your TV show for the biggest feuds of the year. That's the point of WrestleMania season, is to have your biggest feuds. Kick-started with the Royal Rumble.
Probably I might be wrong, sort of barking up the wrong tree, but I'm sort of think the way they do it is going to kind of have a big show each quarter, because then it's their
that's what they want to do. Yes,
things, because it's the earnings reports and things like that.
Yeah,
and that's sort of how the different sections of the year
WrestleMania.
Are just moved up. Yeah, move WrestleMania. WrestleMania can be on the first week of February. Just have one week build between Royal Rumble.
It's perfect.
You win the Royal Rumble match, and then you got WrestleMania next week.
Next week.
Easy.
Got it set up. It's flawless.
Or just do WrestleMania every week.
Yeah, that's a flawless plan.
Yeah.
But anyway, basically, moral of the story is, get your S word together, but hopefully...
Need SmackDown.
Yes, get your SmackDown together, and hopefully Royal Rumble is going to be that hard reset point, like you mentioned, and we are going to get a changed format after it. It's just been a real slog getting through these 4 weeks, because it is the same show every single week.
Yes. I'm sorry I keep accidentally brushing your knee with my finger under the table.
Do you?
Yeah.
No, I didn't notice.
I know, I've noticed.
I didn't. Let's get into some Susu super chats. Let's see what you guys think. New Punk Rants said, Corbin and Lana's storylines are as bad as the worst storylines Russo ever did. At least David Arquette won the belt and got his comeuppance. It's crap. So most of the storylines, they're all pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, Russo's come out to sort of say, look, I mean, it's just like, if Brad Pitt was kissing another woman, you wouldn't go, oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
But it's just because it's wrestling. I mean, I kind of get his point. But then he also, in the same interview, talked about how brilliant his real-life relationship with Lana is, and how they're so happily married, and the fact that they travel together everywhere, and how they started dating and stuff. And it's kind of, oh yeah, this isn't real, is it? I think in this sort of thing, I've just kind of got to the point where I've gone, it's not real. Just let them get on with it. And it feels like it's kind of come to an end now, almost. Although,
I don't know about end.
Watch this space, because I'm wrong.
They'll probably just continue it on. But yeah, in general, I think, the storylines have been lackluster, and when they have good stories, they just don't develop them. They have a good start, and then they just won't go anywhere from there.
Yeah, good ideas, bad execution.
Yeah. Oblivious Kari said, you mean MJF shouldn't fight Cody every week? Exactly.
Precisely.
And I know we're just saying, and we're not trying to say that AEW is great and WWE is terrible, but that is an example of a feud
they should now
they haven't had a match.
A pool next to every single ring that MJF writes into, so they can push him in the end.
Yeah, it's perfect. Oblivious Kari says, I didn't see the show, but I'm sure I can guess it.
Yes.
Yep.
That was pretty much how I felt after I watched it. I thought I could have guessed all that.
Yeah, literally. I could have woken up this morning and written my SmackDown review without watching the show. It was just like that. We've just got some general WrestleTalk related ones now. DatTrain24 said, does gimmick matter for bonus Wrestle League predictions? If I put Santino when Santina shows up, do I get the point?
I've already had this, actually. Louis Dangor, Typo Louis Dangor,
Dangor.
He asked me exactly the same question. I will allow Santina or Santino, because they are the same. They are the same person. Peeling back the curtain here, you might not know this. So they are the same person, so I will allow it. And yes, the report is that Santino Marella is in Houston this weekend.
Supposedly, yes.
So that'd be fun.
And I will say as well, it's like saying, if you predict Mick Foley to show up and Cactus Jack shows up.
Who?
Yeah, I'm sure you might get the point.
Yes.
Datron finished that one off by just saying, also, Corbin needs to go. I will say, not necessarily Corbin's fault, all of this.
He doesn't even get. The thing is, he gets heat. So and then the more he gets heat, the more he'll be pushed. So if you don't like him, just don't react.
Stay silent.
Yeah.
We've got one more here before we get into the rest of the show. Crack Fox Jr. just says, is that a Nottingham Trent hoodie? NTU represent. Yes, it is. That's where I went to university. So, yeah.
New Hall.
Yeah, it was a New Hall when I went there. I don't know if it still is now. If they've still called it New Hall, that's a terrible naming system. Anyway, let's get into the rest of the show. When I say the rest of the show, the whole show, because we actually haven't spoken about any of the show yet. So, Show kicked off with the pre-announced match of the 6-man tag match, which was the Usos and Roman Reigns versus King Corbin, Robert Roode, and Dolph Ziggler. Mm-hmm. This was a match. This went a long time.
It was long.
Like nearly half an hour.
It did almost go half an hour. I think the official time is pretty much bang on 25 minutes.
Really? Wow.
So that is longer than most pay-per-view matches.
Yeah, it is.
And it's longer than most main event pay-per-view matches as well. Mm-hmm. It was a perfectly acceptable match. It had some fun spots in it. You had the... so it kind of started with one of the Usos, Jimmy.
It's Jimmy Uso, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Kind of having a fight, and then he jumps over the top rope and slips.
Does he?
Yeah. I'm still young. He jumps over the top rope and lands on his knee completely normally and then goes, ooh, my knee! He falls off. Ziggler kind of runs in and hits his knee against the steel steps because everything is steel. Mm-hmm. And then the doctors come over and then he sort of has to be helped to the back because he cannot continue for at least 10 minutes.
Oof. Yeah, I know.
So they're taken back and then they're doing the whole... Well, they're a man down now, and then it was sort of heels working over Jay for a while.
A lot of time.
Not letting him get the hot tag, which is kind of, they kept building to it.
Yeah, which was, it was a fine, effective build to a hot tag. 3-on-2 handicap match. The booking worked psychologically, words. It worked that way. The hot tag was fine. Roman went wild once he did eventually get it. But then the numbers game kind of came back. They took out Jay, and then they beat down Roman some more. And then, just when it's looking really dire for Roman Reigns, he's got no one to tag. He's got no one left. Out comes Jimmy Uso, who was like kind of hobbling and also running at the same time.
And the thing is, you'll often see people get put through a table in a match, and then they'll be out for 10 minutes, and then they'll come back. So why was his knee injury so severe that he couldn't even be anywhere near ringside? I know it was for the drama.
Of course, it's for the story, Datsun.
But yeah, I mean, it's fine, and it's fun to kind of see him come back. But yeah, his selling of the injury was a bit Seth Rollins. So
it was a bit Seth Rollins.
It hurt when he was standing still, but also he could do a suicide dive perfectly fine.
Literally, just ran normally for it.
I'm going to move my hand because I keep feeling my hand on your knee.
Well, just don't have your hand on my knee then.
Lovely knees.
Totally.
And then what happens? There's sort of, Jimmy...
He runs wild.
He runs wild. It's a good running wild as well.
It was good, yeah.
And then Roman takes out...
He took out Corbin, and they started brawling out of the arena.
Yeah, so they kind left. Of like a preview. He throws a bin at his head.
Yeah, something like that.
Why was that not a DQ?
It's like when people ram people into the steps. Why isn't that a DQ?
I guess because the steps are there. The steps are an inanimate object that they only move once you throw a person into them. But the bin, if you're throwing a bin into someone, I feel like that's actually you using it.
So if you put someone through a table, it's a DQ. But it's an inanimate object that doesn't move until you put someone through it. So your argument doesn't work.
Maybe the ref couldn't see that far into the crowd.
Why isn't the announce table a DQ? But a regular table is, which is not as big as an announce table.
Not a table.
Yeah, see, there you got me. Anyway, Reigns brawls with Corbin out the arena. Preview for Falls Count Anywhere on Sunday. Jimmy's still in the ring, manages to get a splash onto Robert Roode and picks up the win.
Yeah, but so, yeah.
This was fine.
It was a preview for Sunday, and you would expect that whoever wins the match there is a scenario where I think where they can kind of have one of them get so badly injured in the Falls Count Anywhere match, like Corbin gets so badly injured that he can't compete in the Rumble.
Yep.
But I still think that if Roman then goes into the match, Ziggler and Roode will kind of either come to Corbin's aid, which would of course make it a loyal Rumble. And or at some point in the Royal Rumble match, because I do think Roman Reigns is going to be in it. Even if he's so kind of incapacitated in the Falls Count Anywhere match, he will be in the Royal Rumble. Whether it's kind of his music plays and then he sort of crawls to the ring, or it's sort of wheeled down in a wheelchair,
Boogeyman style.
Yeah,
comes
exactly.
Out crawling.
So he's going to be in it, but I just. I'm worried that they're going to do the spot that kind of got him so much heat a few years ago with the League of Nations, where he gets taken out of the match, put through a table, can't compete for half an hour, then comes back in.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you haven't earned this.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to see how it goes. In my predictions, I've got Roman Reigns to win the Rumble.
Yeah. I mean, Corbin might be the king, but Roman Reigns.
Can someone get me a new co-host?
And also, my last one in this segment is Houston. We have a Probert Rude.
That doesn't even work! That's terrible! Right, you stop now. We got a recap of Kane versus Fiend from last week and all the shenanigans that happened with that. And then we got a recap of Lacey Evans and Bailey and their feud so far and their match from last week. And then Michael Cole is on the ramp with Lacey Evans, and he introduces her, calling her the classy, sassy, sexy Southern Belle.
There's something really weird about Michael Cole going, oh, she's sexy. Also, that doesn't need to be in her title.
No, not at all.
Because she's a babyface, so you don't need to go, oh, by the way, she's sexy. Yeah. Because that's a kind of quite a heel thing, like, I'm really attractive.
Yeah.
If you just call her the classy Southern Belle, that's sort of, okay, she's the classy Southern Belle. You don't have to go sassy and sexy.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
But
she's the David Starr of adjectives.
This whole thing was, so, Bailey and Sasha, and then Lacey just goes, you can do anything if you want to. And then Michael Cole goes, oh, yeah. Why is that? And then she goes, you can do anything if you want to. Oh, really? Yeah, you can do. And it was just she just said the same thing in different ways.
Answer, yeah.
And like, there was a real message behind it because she talked about her father, who legitimately passed away due to a drug overdose before it was just before her tryout, I think, is what I read. So I mean, that's a real like heartbreaking, horrible story. But the delivery was sort of. She delivered it brilliantly, like you said, brilliantly, but also badly, because she was almost crying through the whole thing. So it was sort of, she's building to a crescendo, but then it never actually got there.
Yeah, it was a really weirdly structured segment, because I think Lacey's performance of her doing like the voice crack and like nearly being on the verge of tears was really, really good on its own, in its own little bubble. Yeah. That performance is really good. But when you have like, how do you feel about this thing? And she gives this really emotional response. And then Michael Cole just goes, is that why you joined the Marines? With absolutely zero emotion. And then Lacey just like is completely back to like square one. She goes, oh yeah, that is why I did that. And then she goes into another emotional tirade.
You can do anything if you want to.
She goes into another emotional tirade like that. Yeah. Nearly on the verge of tears, voice crack. It makes everything else feel really disingenuous, which is so harsh when it's something that's very real, like her dad literally losing his life, and yet it made it feel really disingenuous because she was. It felt like a fake reaction because you kept doing it every
time. Marine pop. It was just going this, and this. Marines.
The
crowd goes, way, Marines! And then, but now that the thing is that WWE has now taught me to expect, if you're standing on the top of the ramp, looking at the ring, someone's behind you.
It's true, it's pantomime rules.
And out comes Bailey and hits her from behind, and then we kind of, and then it cuts. What was that?
And then it just cuts. Ad break, I mean, I think if the promo was structured differently, if it wasn't Michael Cole, and someone had just asked her one question, and she did this big emotional speech about losing her dad and using her platform and all that stuff, it would have been a really good babyface promo. It would have been great. But because Michael Cole was there just being like, Sasha Banks and Bailey, Marines, America, it just undercut the whole thing.
And then it cuts to, I'm pretty sure it just cuts to Kayla, who goes, wow. So, Carmella and Dana Brooke, you're in the Royal Rumble on Sunday. You're looking forward to that.
Oh, God, Kayla tried. Bless her heart. She tried.
Carmella, they are normally coloured up to here. And then Dana Brooke particularly, is bright orange to the point where it's thinking, who thinks that looks normal?
I don't think anyone thinks they look normal.
But anyway,
it's just a look, TM.
So Mella kind of does her catchphrase. She sort of clicks and says, "Mella's money. I won the whatever it was, the
WrestleMania Battle Royal.
Dana Brooke goes, yeah, but I'm also here.
Pretty much. And I'm going to do some things.
And then because the surprise brawl worked last week with Sasha and Lacey and Bailey, they just kind of gone, well, that worked. Let's do that again.
We'll do that again.
And then they're sort of talking. They go, huh? What's that over there? And it's Bailey and Lacey. And then
continue to fight.
The referees run in, and then Dana and Carmella kind of pull Lacey off, and that is the last we see of that one.
Yep, that's the last. That's the last of that brawl.
Yeah.
And then we get to the next match, which is, if you're gonna have women on a match, you might as well just put them all together. Yeah. Don't space them out through the show, and don't give them a full match. Just put them all together so it all feels like one segment. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Fire and Desire.
The bell did actually ring in this
The bell did ring.
So it did start.
So they both had their entrances, and there was a little kind of in-screen corner promo, which I think they screwed up because they had it full screen and in the corner at the same time.
So I had my laptop ready to write notes, and then I was like, oh, because then it just stopped. And then you can just hear on the ring mic Nikki Cross saying,
oh no.
I was really looking forward to wrestling. I'm so bummed out. I wanted to be ready for the Royal Rumble on Sunday. So you can just about hear that if you listen really carefully. Rewind it, you'll hear her. And then it's just the same brawl. Just get to the ring, and then all the refs are in there. And I'm thinking at this point, okay, well, this is the classic pre-Royal Rumble spot where everyone gets thrown over, and then you've got Nikki Cross left in the ring going, yay! Having thrown everyone out or managed to kind of outlast people, just in this sort of thing. And then she stands there going, huh, I like how this feels.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. And it just went, okay, well, that's done.
Out we come. This match starts. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
5 seconds in. Ding, ding, ding. DQ. Cool. Good job, guys. We put women on the show.
Yeah.
Well done, everyone. That's a wrap. Everyone go home. It was ridiculous. Yeah. And also, one thing we should mention as well, on Fire and Desire's entrance, they had a little corner promo, and they mentioned about how Otis was not going to be at ringside with them. No. And Sonya said because it's Fire and Desire, not Fire and Desire and Otis.
At least that was true. At least they didn't go, he's not going to be there, and then he was there.
And then he was there.
That's the first time that's ever happened where they've gone, he's not here tonight, and then they've actually gone through with it.
I'm really quite scared, though, that they've just dropped the story, and that's their excuse of dropping it. That's just them going, nah, we're not going to have Otis anymore.
They love weird romance too much.
I know, yeah. I'm hoping that it just comes back next week. They're just in a holding pattern until the Rumble.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's what it is anyway. I thought the whole women's stuff was ridiculous. I can't believe they actually gave them a match and did full entrances. Alexa Bliss got pyro for her entrance. And then they just go, you're going to have 5 seconds and it's going to be a DQ.
Make the 5 seconds really good, though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they even locked up.
I don't think they did, no. They just came out and immediately started brawling. It was ridiculous.
And then straight into an ad break, and then
we got stuff that actually you need time for. You need Elias to sing his song, because that's way more important than women.
Exactly. But he's going to only sing a bit of a song.
Yeah.
Because he's got a special guest. So he kind of goes, Brock sucks, I'm going to beat everyone, Randy sucks.
Ricochet, see you later.
Suck.
Yeah.
He's like, I have a special guest, the monster among men. I almost pronounced that very badly.
Yes, you did.
The monster among men. Out he comes. Braun goes. And then that wasn't even pretending to sing. He went. And then Cesaro's music hits, and then you can guess the rest.
Yeah. Sami Zayn continues to be the best thing about this, of course. Him just dancing his way down to the ring, and it's great. This was a fairly standard tag match. Elias looked better than I remember him being in ring-wise. He got beaten down for a lot of it and started to, come back to do his thing. Some of the offense he did, I was like, oh, that actually looks pretty cool. He got the hot tag to Strowman. Strowman ran wild. Feud attempted Zayn distractions and stuff. He hits a power slam onto Cesaro, tags back in Elias. Elias hits an elbow drop and gets the win. So
yeah, but the thing is,
it was a match.
We say WWE doing that thing with the women where they just go, well, you're on the same feud. Let's do a tag match. That's exactly what they've done here as well. They've gone, you're all fighting. You're in a match now.
I guess so, but also they're already a tag team. Nakamura and Cesaro are already a tag team.
They are a Franken team.
A Franken team. So at least it's not just like, we'll put you together, whatever. So at least there was that. But this match was fine. And again, Strowman gets a win over Nakamura and Cesaro.
Look out on Twitter today, because there very easily could be a
IC title match probably coming up.
Sounds cool.
But then we've got another promo backstage. We got lots of promos next. Which
was weird.
Big E and Kofi Kingston.
Big E was doing an Otis.
Big E was getting oiled up from someone.
Because you can only see, and also you can only see from waist up. So I was worried he was about to introduce the new tag team, the Nude Day.
Yeah, that was pretty good actually. I'll give you that one.
Thank you.
And he's getting oiled up. He's all greased up. And there's some random guy who's just greasing up Big E.
I mean, I would do that job.
Oh, yeah.
I mean it'd be great.
Yeah.
And then Kofi's like, what are you doing?
What
and then he kind of goes, hey, if I'm the more greasy I am, the harder I am to throw out of the Rumble.
So Big E and Kofi Kingston are in the Rumble also?
Yes.
Even more people confirmed for it.
I think we have about two
or three slots that are not confirmed yet.
And given that we've had now sort of Edge and Santino Marella are in the
seemingly
area,
confirmed.
We kind of think, okay, I would not be... Actually, no. 2020, they're not going to put Santino in it.
No, they absolutely shouldn't. If they do, it will be a travesty.
Yeah. Given that they actually have a transgender wrestler in AEW, they're not going to go, well, we've got one too.
Yeah.
It's Santina Marella.
Put in Santina,
that would be even beyond Vince's levels of insensitivity.
I don't think it's beyond Vince's. I think it's beyond Vince's yes men. And I think for once they'll actually be like, that's not a good idea.
No, Vince, you can't do that. I guess you could have I reckon you could have Santino on the pre-show panel because they're going to go, hey, you hold the record for
being eliminated
fast.
So
and here
fast.
he is, Santino Marella.
Yeah.
That could be
That's a fun thing, yeah. Or maybe what they're going to try and do is have Santino equal the record. So he'll enter the Rumble and get eliminated in a second again. So then he'll hold the record for quickest elimination twice. That'd be weird, wouldn't it?
I'd prefer if he was in the match for a bit, hit a Cobra.
Same. I would love for him to be number 2. And for him to try and do the Cobra. Thank you for interrupting, yes. I'd love for him to try and do the Cobra against Brock Lesnar. Because I think that would just be hilarious.
And Brock just sells it.
And Brock sells it! That would be the best thing!
Brock just does the JTG sell of...
That'd be so
Brock
good.
Falls over the top rope and Santino
eliminates him with the Cobra. Anyway, Kofi and Big E say they're going to have fun in the Rumble, etc. And Kingston's also facing John Morrison tonight.
Yeah, and then Michael Cole says, speaking of the Rumble, here are some Rumble numbers.
It's all in the numbers.
Well,
I mean, there's another promo first before that. Yeah,
Who?
Corbin is backstage and he says he's going to make Roman bow down to the king. It's the same promo he's done for months. Yeah. So, whatever. And then Michael Cole does this all in the numbers. And we get the all about the
Rumbers, Pete. But so here's my thing. They've announced Roman Reigns for backstage on Tuesday.
They have.
They're also making a really big thing of only 7 people have won it twice. Kind of feels like they're just setting this all up.
Good thing I've predicted Roman Reigns to win the Rumble.
Yeah. I mean, I'll have a check, but I think a good 85% of people have probably predicted Roman Reigns for the Rumble.
Yep. But you know who hasn't? Most people in the office, bar Luke. So.
Really?
Yeah.
What's everyone else gone for?
Ollie went for Brock Lesnar.
Ollie has gone for Brock Lesnar.
Laurie went for Seth Rollins. I don't know about Simon. I don't know about you, in fairness. But I'm just going off
I've gone for Roman Reigns.
I'm going off the very good predictions video we did, which you should totally go and watch because it's a new format and we put in a load of effort into it. So please go and watch it. It's really, really fun. Promise. So
actually, there's a lot of it's mainly Brock Lesnar.
Really?
And Roman Reigns.
Yeah, that's fair.
Actually no. So it's just no. So it's mainly Roman Reigns. There's a few: Aleister Black, Big E, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk,
pick.
Randy Orton, Adam Cole, and someone
picks.
called Seth Rollins with a W.
Well, Anyway. All about the numbers, and then Sheamus is back in a dark room once again, saying exactly the same thing he said before about Shorty G. They're having a match probably on the Rumble pre-show, let's be real. And it was really boring. Same thing that he's always been doing, rinse and repeat. Same thing we said earlier, it's boring. Next we've got Kofi Kingston versus John Morrison.
Parkour blimey.
In which, that's terrible, stop doing these jokes. And this honestly was quite a fun match, because both of these guys are so athletic, it's kind of hard for them to have a bad match.
Yeah.
So there was some cool spots like a Spanish fly from the middle rope.
I think it was the best match on the show.
Yes. There's a Spanish fly from the middle rope. Morrison did a thumb to the eye before that to set that up, which was a nice heel thing. There was a really cool, sort of super kick. It was like a sliding super kick from Morrison.
It was like a Mick kick.
Yeah. when Kingston was attempting a Trouble in Paradise, as he was turning around, Morrison did like a sliding super kick thing. It looked really cool. But then the finish came when Miz blindsided Big E on the outside. He gets hit with a Trouble in Paradise, and then Morrison used the distraction to hit Kofi, then hit the Starship Pain for the win. And this time...
It was a much better Starship Pain.
Starship Pain was really good.
Yeah.
And he actually hit it.
That was so... I mean, my jokes are bad, but that was the lamest thing that's happened on this whole show.
What?
You doing that with the glasses on. It's still not my favourite move, but yeah, he did hit it much better this week.
Much better this week. And I will say, if he hit it like that every week, it would not be one of my least favourite moves. No, it's perfectly fine when it's like that. But yeah, it was pretty good. But again, like we said, it's a fine match, but it's the same story. Time and time again. It's the same thing. It's Morrison versus one of the two, or it's Miz versus one of the two.
And this is another match that could quite comfortably be made for
Royal Rumble.
Could
be a SmackDown tag match.
Yeah, again, easily pre-show. Or it could bump, I don't know, another match to the... I can see myself. It's quite off-putting.
Yeah. These are good sunglasses.
Yeah. It could bump another match onto the pre-show.
Totally.
But again, this could also easily be at the Saudi show or Elimination Chamber, because they can just do this match over and over. I mean, I don't think has Big E faced the Miz yet.
No. I think that's the one combination they haven't done yet.
Next week.
So that'll be on the pre-show.
Yeah.
Now that we've done that segment, I can put these back. And now we can talk about the final segment of the show, which was the Daniel Bryan and Fiend Bray Wyatt contract signing segment. So they are going to have a strap match at the Royal Rumble. They explained the rules, which was nice because there was a bit of confusion about that. It is literally, they're going to be tied together.
Yeah,
that's the rule.
Put a strap on and then you just have a fight.
Yep. Put a strap on. And you just win by pinfall or submission. But then Daniel Bryan comes out and says, I'm going to beat you, etc. And then the Firefly Funhouse comes on.
Yep.
And Bray Wyatt is back there attempting to print out a load of contracts. There's a load of crumpled paper and stuff. And he's like, yowie wowie, etc. He's saying he shouldn't sign the contract. Bryan says all he does is run from problems. And Wyatt says that he betrayed him and now it's time to pay for it.
There was a slight timing issue, I think, in there. Because Bryan said, you're doing blah, 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 blah. You're making mistakes. And then kept talking for about 5 more seconds. And then Bray Wyatt goes, did you just say mistakes?
Yeah.
And then, those are very hard to do.
I was going to say, in fairness to them, that is an entirely pre-done Firefly Funhouse, and you'll see why later. But yeah, that's very much an entirely pre-recorded thing that Bryan was having to riff off. So I'm giving them a benefit of the doubt that one.
I did just say that.
Yeah. He says it's time for him to pay. But you're not going to be facing me on Sunday. Yeah. You're going to be facing him, so he should sign the contract. Lights cut out. Fiend comes into the ring. He delivers a mandible claw to Bryan into the corner. He rips off Bryan's t-shirt.
Which are now eco-friendly.
Eco-friendly. And he gets the strap that's been on the table so you can see what the strap looks like. And he just whips Daniel Bryan with it, which is really cool, honestly. It's just like a nice sound effect.
Those are one of those things that I just think, that has to hurt, because leather belts hurt so much.
Also, I hope that's not real leather, because that's just really mean to Daniel Bryan.
It's one of those things that when your mates, you're like, I don't know, some of your mates, and someone like has a belt, you know that someone's going to get hit with it.
What kind of mates do you have?
Bad ones.
Yeah, apparently.
And then, so then he hits up Sister Abigail, goes up, gets the pen and goes, how do I use this? And then goes, I know.
He didn't say that.
No, he doesn't say that. He goes, nah. He goes, how do I use this? Goes, smush in his hand, kind of stabs his hand over and over and over, and then just does.
And starts like laughing while he's doing it. He's like twisting the pen into his hand and just laughing maniacally. It sounds really cool. It looks really cool. Yeah, and then he just gets his own blood and just smears it on the contract.
I think afterwards he would have had to sign a different contract, because that is not official. I mean, unless he does I don't know if that's legally binding. Yeah. I was going to say, unless he does that in every single contract. I mean, because he's... Unless that is his genuine signature.
Could be. You don't know. Yeah. I thought it was a really nice touch. I thought I really, really liked it.
Yeah.
When I was thinking...
I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
No. And when I was thinking, a Bray Wyatt contract signing, I was like, okay, that's something different. We haven't seen a contract signing from him before. And he put his own touch on it. It wasn't like, I'm going to cut a promo, you're going to come out, cut a promo, and then we're going to sign the contract and someone gets put through a table. This was a nice little spin on it. And just him signing it in his own blood is just a really cool thing. Yeah. That's just how it is. It was cool. The only issue I kind of had with this, though, was I feel like this is the first time where someone has interacted with the Firefly Funhouse and then the Fiend has come out straight away afterwards. So canonically, that's either supernatural. He can either like change like Superman, or it's supernatural thing where he can come out, or they are different people.
Yeah, I mean another slight issue was that last week you had Kane come out, and then as soon as the music hit, Kane ran out the ring.
Yeah,
and kind of got out of the way. Why didn't Daniel Bryan do that this week? Because if the music hits, he knows, okay, well, the Fiend's coming. I should probably get out of the way. This week, he just sort of stood there and went,
but
where is he?
He said he was coming out to sign the contract. Yeah, so why would Bryan move? He's there to come out and sign the contract.
Yeah, he's a notary. So.
Yeah. So yeah, canonically, they're different people now, or it's just really supernatural. I don't like it. If it's a supernatural thing, just stop doing that. Because before, when they've had the Firefly Funhouse and then the Fiends come out afterwards, it's normally been like, oh, it was a ruse because it was a pre-taped Firefly Funhouse. It was them all along, blah, 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 whatever. But this time it felt like, no, he's having a conversation with Bryan, and also he's here at the same time. So it was a bit weird. And that was the end of the show. And overall, it was perfectly average. I mean, we said most of what I want to say earlier at the start of the show was just really repetitive. There's nothing wrong with these shows. They are perfectly fine, average shows. Yeah. But we've had the same show for 4 weeks. And when you have the same show for 4 weeks, especially when it's the Royal Rumble Go Home show, that's really just inexcusable. It's one of your big 4 shows of the year. And for a lot of people, their favourite show of the year.
Myself included.
And me too. It's a perfectly harmless show, which is not what you want for a Royal Rumble Go Home show. So simply because of that, on any other week, this would be a 3 out of 5 show. For this week, I gave it a 2 out of 5 because you just can't get away with that for the Royal Rumble Go Home show. I think it would have been a 2 out of 5 any week for me. It just wasn't. I just wasn't excited by it. There's nothing wrong with what was on this show, but in context with the previous 4 weeks, it's just really repetitive and boring.
Yes.
So yeah. We're going to really quickly check the community tab poll just to see what you guys thought, because I put that up earlier today and see what you guys thought as well. If you can fill for some time, Andy, because I didn't get it up beforehand before we started streaming.
Well, of course I can fill some time. So
just kidding, you don't need to. Got it. 60% of people have actually voted for smack bang in the middle, 3 out of 5.
I think that's fine.
We've had 6.1 thousand votes on this one.
Wow.
Next highest is actually Smacktastic, 4 out of 5 at 15%, and 13% said Smackdowner, 9% are Smack in the Face, and 4% Smacknificent.
I think there are just some people who will vote for Smacknificent or a Smack in the Face, whatever week it is.
Correct.
They either love it or they hate it.
Yes. But yeah, very much in that kind of middle bracket of smack bang in the middle. 60% is a landslide for this kind of poll. So yeah, you guys think it was an average show, and it was. But now let's get into, we'll actually do the patron shoutouts first, and then we'll finish off with the rest of the super chats. So we need to say thank you to some special people, and those are our $25 and above pledge hammers on Patreon. If you haven't gone over to WrestleTalk's Patreon yet, you should. Patreon.com/WrestleTalk. If you go over there, depending on what tier you pledge at, you get all sorts of bonus content. You can join in Wrestle League, which we're doing tomorrow. It's the start of a new season in Wrestle League tomorrow. So if you want to get in on it, now is a great time, because we're doing a brand new Patreon platform thing. What's it called again? Patreon. There's a word I'm looking for.
Wrestle League.
Yep, it's a new portal. It's a new Patreon portal we've got for Wrestle League that starts with the Royal Rumble tomorrow.
It's a proper website.
It's a proper website. So it's great now.
No more Google Forms. There's one more Google form just for the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
But as soon as the Royal Rumble's done, it's completely kind of self-sufficient. Sort of, you just put it in and it will do it all automatically. So as soon as the show's finished, I'll be updating all the kind of the answer key live. So as soon as the show's finished, you'll be able to go and see how you've done.
Exactly. It's great. You can go over there. And that's only at the $5 tier. If you go with $5 tier as well, you can get WrestleTalk Extra, which is Ollie and Luke reviewing an old school pay-per-view, which this month is going to be Royal Rumble 2001, which is awesome. If you go to $10, you get our extra WrestleTalk After Dark show, or the other one. What's the actual name for it? Ramble Club. There we go. Words. And it's a drunk podcast where we just drink and talk nonsense. It's really fun. And loads of other benefits, including this one. If you pledge at $25, you get your own shout out on a show like this, and you get your own wrestling name. So, thank you to Angry Arbel Zafiri, and you get a cheap pop.
Woo! Yeah, well,
thank you.
Arnie K. The K stands for coolest dude ever.
Oh yeah, yes it does. The coolest dude ever. The Mountain, Matthew Dennis. Woo! Yeah, thank you.
Anal Probo.
That's not his name. I changed it specifically.
Fine. Probocop.
Thank you. Much better. Woo! Manipulating Manny Umaria.
Yeah.
Woo, yeah, thank you.
The Vision Adonis.
Woo! Thank you. Liam Milsom Murders. That's good. That's good.
The Universal Champion, Kenny Omega.
Woo! Yes. Not the Major of Painesville, Daniel.
Hey! Go on, Dan. Pick him up. Loot Sponge.
Yes! Loot Sponge. Thank you. Ken, I'm not eligible to get a case of craft beer. DeLeon.
Hey. And lastly, you've got Colin McCleaner than Finn Balor.
Hey, that really sounds like we're saying cleaner than Finn Balor. It's Colin Mac leaner than Finn Balor.
Oh, I thought that's what it was. Fine. Colin Mac leaner than Finn Balor.
Hey, thank you. Right, and now we'll get into the rest of your guys' super chats. Thank you for your support on Patreon. Let's get into the rest of super chats. We've got one here, just some general SmackDown / WWE related ones. Valad Mamadi Pudi said, astounding the difference in quality of SmackDown compared to this time last year. It's boring now, but I do have to question where you would place Corbin in SmackDown in general, and would it matter? Yes. Have him do mid-card feuds. He was really good when he was going for the US title.
Yes.
Have him in that.
Another top heel who isn't him, basically.
Yeah, and just wherever you use him, even if it's in a higher position than mid-card, even if it is kind of a main event thing, don't have him take up a quarter of the show every week.
Just almost didn't grab someone from NXT. Grab a Dominic Dijakovic, put him on SmackDown. Immediately, that's a new guy.
Yeah.
And he's really good in the ring. And it's just a different person, and he can be a heel. He's proved he can be a heel. So.
Yeah. Deej II said, as a fan, I'm tired of waiting for the next hard reset. Between Saudi shows / holidays / network change, we are forever waiting for the next reset. That is true. We are the authority, lest we forget. Luke Neal said, Elias is amazing. P.S. WrestleTalk is as well. Keep it up, guys. Don't let the haters get you down. Well, thank you for that.
I don't have any of those.
And yeah, totally. And Elias is cool.
Yes. He is better as a heel, but it's
fine. He is better as a heel, yeah. Kodiak 1984 said, KO to win the Rumble. Nice foil against Rollins. I'd really like that. I'd like him to win.
Honestly, I think Roman Reigns is going to win, but I would love someone else to win because it'd be interesting and it would be unexpected.
Yes. Now we've got some general WrestleTalk related ones here. James Williams says, where's Dave? Andy's jokes hurt. We've mentioned before, but Dave's not going to be doing the SmackDown stuff anymore. It's not to say we won't use him again ever, but for now, not doing the SmackDown stuff.
My jokes are supposed to hurt. I got hurt and heel, and I keep looking at the wrong one.
Yeah, it's dreadful. You should start doing some heel jokes soon. Datrain24 said, don't ask for a new co-host. The worse his jokes are, the better you look. Ask to only do videos with him, and you'll be more loved than Luke and Ollie.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that your whole plan? Is just to make me look good?
Yeah,
pretty
much.
Totally what it is. Sol Garcia said, keep up the good work, guys. Thank you very much. And we've got some general super chats. Wilson Simon says, for the fans of GM Mode, download Modern Mania Wrestling on the App Store. Obviously, this isn't sponsored, but I just feel like this app needs some more love. So if you like GM Mode, go download that. I love GM Mode. I might go download it. GM Mode's great.
I don't know what that is.
What, GM Mode? It's on the SmackDown vs. Raw. It's a game mode for stuff. Xavier Woods and Tyler Breeze have a great series on Up, Up, Down, Down of GM Mode. It's really fun.
I'm not really much. I play like one game a year.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm not on Screen Stalker ever, because if you'd ask me a question, I'd go, I have no idea.
Don't know. Yeah. And lastly, it looks like Oblivious Kari said, does watching a show on a TV app count in ratings?
I don't think so.
Don't think so.
Because I think it's the channel that gets the ratings. It's kind of like SmackDown on Fox.
Yes. Yeah.
So if people are streaming it, then they're not going to go, well, 500 people watched it on this illegal website. Or, So I think I'm pretty sure it is just because they list like the channel it was on as well next to the TV ratings.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. But that is all the super chats we've got today, and I believe that's all the time we've got for this stream as well.
Yes.
So
I'm off to get an MRI scan.
Woo!
My giant head. I'm worried I'm going to get stuck in the machine. They're going to put me in. I'm going to go, oh no,
can't get out. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you're watching on catch-up, please press the videos that have just appeared on the desk to catch up with the latest awesome WrestleTalk things. Tune back into YouTube because Ollie and Luke will be doing Royal Rumble live reactions tomorrow, and we've got a Royal Rumble review on Monday as well. And press this button right here that'll make you a pledge hammer on Patreon. I've been Jobber Pete Quinnell. This has been Randy Andy Datson, and that was SmackDown that really needs to change.